Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. I'd love for you to take a comfortable seat and close your eyes. So what I was thinking about before I sat down on the mat right now, a few minutes ago, was the word peaceful. And what I was thinking about was how often I use that word. And so I started brainstorming some synonyms. And I want to read them off to you. I'm sure there's a ton more we could add to the list, but these are the ones I wrote down. And I'm kind of hoping that you will pick one that resonates with you, that you kind of want to work with throughout the sequence. So close your eyes and just listen to the words I give you and just see how they feel, how they fit perhaps. And if you like peaceful, you can keep that one. That's totally fair. So I had tranquil, calm, hushed, quiet, still, relaxing, soothing, undisturbed, secluded, noiseless, soundless. Which one of those stuck in your head? And just kind of saying that word to yourself, how does it feel in your body? Why was it that word over the other ones? Well, in a moment, I'll tell you which one I chose to make the theme of the class, which doesn't mean yours was wrong. There is no wrong answer, but we are going to expound on one of those. But first, take a deep inhale through the nose. Loud exhale. Inhale, take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together. And exhale your hands home to your heart in Anjali Mudra. We, of course, are going to pause here to set an amazing intention for our energy and our practice. When you're ready, release the hands. Give me another deep breath in. Let it go. And just repeat your word in your head. Let the definition of how you would answer that word fill the body. Right? So if you chose hushed, maybe you just feel your entire body softening, getting very, I'm going to have to use the same words over and over because they're synonyms, right? Getting very still, quiet. And what does that mean about the external noises you hear? What do you do with those? If we're trying to allow the body to be the word we chose, what are we going to do with the barking dog, the kids running around, the footsteps we hear upstairs, whatever it might be? Let's inhale, take the arms all the way back up. Exhale to the heart. Keep the hands at the heart. This time I'm really going to let my elbows go out wide. Gently push the palms together. Sit up nice and tall. Upper body twist to the right. So start low. Feel the stomach turning first, then the mid-ribs, and then we work our way up to the shoulders and then the head. Hold it here, keep breathing. When you get to an exhale, just float your way back through center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take that twist to the left. Same thing, try to start the twist low. On an exhale, come back to center. Nice, release the arms. So I'm going to take the left hand to the ground, off to my left, but behind this left leg. Right hand in front of me. I'm going to lengthen, turn my heart towards that left knee, and just slowly walk my way down into a fold over that leg. You can stop wherever you want to, wherever you need to. So the synonym that I chose was soundless. Soundless. And I think that one stuck with me because I just kind of said it and closed my eyes, and obviously that means there's no sound. So the Theosophical Society founder, Helena Blavatsky, she felt that meditation was the only way in which you could hear your inner sound. And she felt that that inner sound was soundless because if you're going to have an external sound, like me clapping, one object has to hit another, right? Our internal sounds do not work that way. So how do we hear them? We're going to have to get really quiet, still, hushed, peaceful. I think you get the picture, right? So interestingly enough, what is the sound of our internal sound? It's not a koan, I promise. Go ahead, walk your way back up. As you come through center, just switch the arms over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn your heart to the right knee and come on down. All right, before I give you the answer, I want you to remember, think back to other classes we've done together. There's a word that encompasses all sounds in the universe, and that's Om. So the sound of your internal sound is Om, whether you say it O-M or you pronounce it Aum, A-U-M, doesn't matter, right? Because the interesting thing about Om is it really isn't supposed to be written. It's a symbol, right? Many languages use the symbol of Om, Om, I combined the two, of Om. And the reason for that is because Om is not part of a language, it's not part of a religion. It's a symbol that's been used throughout many cultures. And we're going to talk about that symbol. We've talked about it before, but there's certain things about it that I want to cover so that we can figure out how do we get to that inner Om. All right, go ahead, gently push your way out. Come back to center. And that's why this class is going to be extremely restorative, because I need to help you quiet your physical body so we can hear that internal Om. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, to the heart. And then release the hands. Let's go ahead and come on over into embryo, which, if you're not familiar with it, is like child's pose, except the knees stay together, and instead of the arms going forward, they're going behind us. Having said that, if you already know as you look down at the earth that there's no way you're getting that low, grab a prop, anything nearby that your forehead can rest comfortably on. Okay, hands are reaching behind you, palms open to the sky. And just settle in. Now, if this pose does not make your knees very happy, then you could flip over onto your back and just hug the knees in, right? So while you're here, I want you to focus on the breath, of course, but I want you to add in your head, you're not saying this out loud, on the exhale, in your head, Om. The inhale is silent, and the exhale is Om. And you can stay with that mantra in your head, or if you feel like letting it go, that's okay. Just stay with the breath either way. And so one of the things that we know about Om is in Sanskrit, that mantra, well, by itself is probably the world's most recognized mantra, but it also will encase your other mantras, right? So it starts them off and it ends them. And there sometimes is this misconception that Om refers to a particular deity, which it does not. It will surround a mantra that's making reference to a deity. But remember, I already said that Om is not, it's not really meant to be a word because it's every sound in the cosmos. And it isn't a religion. So you could liken it to the word Amen, which they believe came from Om. And so we know that Amen doesn't refer directly to God, but it's just something we say at the end of a prayer, right? So Om is very similar to that. So stay there one more second. I want to read you this quote. This is by Pratiksha Apurv. Om is heard only when the mind has totally gone silent. And when one has gone beyond all words and languages, and there's not even a ripple inside, but pure silence, then at that moment, Om, the soundless sound, can be heard. So that's what we're looking for. As you chose whichever peaceful word you chose, right? Okay, give me a deep breath in. Let it go. Let's start to bring the hands forward. Lift the head. If your head was resting on a prop, will you just set it aside for a moment? Let's go ahead and slowly come up into table. And we'll find our cat-cow here. Link it with the breath, of course. So once you are able to get quiet enough that you find your inner Om, there's something even deeper. The Sanskrit word is Nad, N-A-A-D, and it means like, it would be like divine cosmos. It's like, it's everything. And that would be the ultimate silence. That would be moving into enlightenment. But Om encompasses, if you recall, everything about the universe. It's creation, it's preservation, and it's destruction. So it's everything. All right, come back to a neutral spine. And then go ahead and let's just tuck the toes. One very slow, gentle, downward facing dog. Walk it out. And then bring the knees back down to the earth. Put your hips, your sit bones back down. We need to find some props here. So if you have 2 blocks, grab those. If you have 1 block, grab that and a blanket. If you don't have a block, doesn't really matter. Just grab 2 things. 2 things. Could be a cat, but preferably not. Don't want to lay on the cat per se. So I've got my 2 blocks. So whatever you have, if you don't have any props, don't worry about it. You're totally fine. All right, so I'm going to come down onto my right side. Block number 1 is the most comfortable pillow on my mat. So I'm going to come on down. I want to free that right arm in front of me. My knees are going to be bent. Maybe you sleep like this. And I'm going to take the second block and just put it between my knees. So let the arms relax. Close your eyes. If you really hate the block being a pillow, you could put your blanket on top of it. And just let go. Think about that word you chose, the synonym of peaceful. And just let go. I want you to notice that if there are external sounds going on in your space, those sounds have nothing to do with you finding your peace or your quiet or your calm or your stillness or your soundlessness. Do not let those sounds interfere. They are not part of you. They might be frustrating you, but I need you to let that go. Because we're going within, and those sounds don't exist there. It's funny, I've been kind of noticing lately, and this is not on purpose, that my yoga themes over the past week, they all kind of weave in with each other. And the Zen story that I told yesterday in my Inspired Vinyasa class, it was about this master who is going for a walk and a disciple joins him. And this master has traveled the world. And suddenly, throat chakra, and suddenly it starts to rain. And so the disciple grabs this huge leaf and holds it up over his head. And he says to the master, "You've been everywhere. Just please tell me, where is the perfect place? I mean, where's the perfect summer? Where is it not raining? And where's the perfect winter? Do you know it?" And the master says, "Well, yes, I do." And so the disciple says, "Will you tell me where it is?" And the master says, you have to figure that out." And he keeps walking. But the point of the story is, we could move 1,000 times, right? We're never going to find the perfect place because our humanness and our issues and our worries follow us. They don't actually even follow us. They're in us. And so we take them with us. And yeah, it would be great to perhaps, be on a beach today. But 2 weeks from now, when the beach starts to lose some of its novelty, I'm not going to say all, we still have what we brought there. And that is why I'm telling you that if you've got things in your space that are distracting you, tune them out. It's not them. It's not them. It's not us, right? We're going within. And so There isn't a better room to be in to do your practice. There's not a better space. We make do with where we are. All right, give me a deep breath in, hold it. And let it go. Perfect. However it's easiest for you, go ahead and roll over, turn over, get onto the left side. Don't forget, give that bottom shoulder some space. I always like to move that shoulder out in front of me a little bit so it doesn't feel like it's been trapped underneath. So Pratiksha Apurv wrote this as well. The soundless sound of Om, which is supreme consciousness, is the inner Na'ad, which is divine sound, which is eternally present. Okay, let's just pause right there. Your divine sound is eternally present. No matter how confused and stressed you feel, it is still there within you. And the seeker stepping into the stream of eternal existence will be able to hear it. This sound doesn't explain any philosophy or religion, but it vibrates in our inner being, creating states of joy and celebration, which cannot be experienced by any other external sound. Don't you read that and go, I want that? Why can't you have that? Right? So we are breathing in peace. We are breathing in, you fill in the blank, you chose the word. And we're not just breathing it in, we are open-heartedly inviting it in. So send that quietness throughout the whole body. Relax the muscles. Settle into your comfortable block. And let go. All right, deep inhale, hold the breath. Let it go. I'm gonna take whatever prop you have between your knees. Go ahead, slide it out, set it down. Slowly roll over onto your back. You can keep whatever pillow you have under your head for a moment. And if you aren't using anything, we're about to catch up with you anyway, so you're perfectly fine. And let's hug the knees in. Resting each hand on its knee, palms in. Create that vinyasa with the breath. Inhale, knees push into the hands, arms straighten. Exhale, pull it back in. Keep going. Slow this down. Next time the knees are in, hold them there. I'm going to take my hands, reach back, move that pillow out from underneath my head. And then let's go ahead and set the left foot down on the mat. Straighten that right leg up to the ceiling. I'm sure you probably have already closed your eyes. Stay with the breath. And then we're just going to bring this right leg back down into half happy baby. So go ahead and grab the inner sole of that foot, pull the knee down and wide. This should be pretty compassionate with the other leg bent. If the shin does not want to become perpendicular with the ceiling and the floor, don't argue with it. Let the body do what it needs to do. I'm going to slowly let go of this foot, set that foot on the earth, knee bent, stretch that left leg up to the sky. Go ahead and take that leg into half happy baby. And release that foot back down to the mat, knees are bent. We're going to prep for bridge. A really slow, you know what word I'm going to use, right? Peaceful, quiet, hushed, silent bridge, whatever word you chose. So feet are hip distance apart, push the heels into the earth, slowly lift the hips up. And we're just floating right back down. Have your eyes closed. Really connect this with the movement of the breath. So inhale, slowly, hips are still rising. Exhale all the way back down. And we're trying to time the very last bit of that exhale with when the hips reach the earth. Give me two more. Your pace. Follow your breath. And then when you've reached the mat again, bring the knees in. Take the arms, interlace the fingers behind the head. And we're dropping the knees down to the right. And of course, if you want a prop to catch your legs, I can't see my block, you can go ahead and bring it down to the right side. Or if coming down to the floor is okay with your body, that's fine too, as long as that left shoulder stays on the earth. Now, while you're here, I want you to close your eyes. If you already know what the Om symbol looks like, I want you to bring that to your mind's eye. If you don't know, I'm going to describe it for you. Once this video is up on YouTube, I will have edited in the Om symbol so you know what it looks like for sure. So it looks like a number 3, right? And then on the outside of that 3, where the two curves meet, there's almost like a little curve, a little tail. And then above that, not touching the 3, it would be like a smile on a smiley face, you know, a curved line, a crescent moon perhaps. It's open towards the top. And then kind of sitting in that but not touching it, and that's important, is a dot. And so Om represents the 3 stages of consciousness. The bottom curve of that number 3 is as you're awakening, right? And it's represented by the biggest curve because, frankly, we're awake a lot of the time, aren't we? I'm going to pause right there. Go ahead and pull the knees to center. Slowly take them to the left, and if you were using a prop, go ahead and move it on over. Okay, so we've got the bottom part of the 3, our awakened state, or our awakening from sleep. That little tail that kind of comes off on the side between the 2 curves of the 3, that represents our dream state. And then that top curve, the top part of the 3, that's our unconscious deep sleep. And what I want you to notice about that as you picture it in your head is that all 3 of those curves are attached. They're all interconnected. So why aren't the other 2 parts of that symbol connected? Well, the reason is because the parts of the curve, those 3 stages of our awareness, we're going through those pretty continually, right? The other 2 stages are a little bit beyond our reach. So I like to designate that curve that almost holds that dot without touching it, as Maya. It's kind of an illusion. It's separating our 3 stages of awakening, dream, and unconscious deep sleep from that dot at the top, which is Turiya in Sanskrit, and it represents, well, it would be like ultimate enlightenment. It's that word we were talking about, nod, that would be within. So very difficult to reach. We have that illusion, that curve of illusion that is distracting us. Go ahead and pull the knees back to center. I have more to say on that, so don't let that go yet. All right, hug the knees back in. While you're hugging them, let's go ahead and flex the feet and point and flex and point. Now alternate, so one of them's flexing while one's pointing. Switch it up. When you're ready, go ahead and roll off to a side in a fetal position. Give me a deep breath. And as you exhale, very peacefully and quietly and hushedly and soundlessly push your way back up. We're looking for props. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my bolster. And again, if you don't have a bolster, any kind of pillow will do, your blanket will do. If you don't have anything nearby, you're going to be fine. All right, I have that bolster running horizontally across my mat. I have my right hip to it, so what we're doing is coming down in a supported side bend. So it's not too different from what we just did with the blocks, except we're adding a little support underneath the side ribs. So my knees are still bent. Come on down onto that right elbow for a moment. If your knees are uncomfortable being on top of each other, you could take your block and put it back between the legs if you want to. You could take your blanket if you'd rather, but you might want your blanket for a pillow if you do not like coming all the way down and over that bolster. So that's up to you. If the space you're in is a little cold, I mean, I've left my sweatshirt on because it's chilly in here, you could take your blanket and cover up if you'd prefer. So totally up to you. Maybe you don't feel like having the knees bent. If you want to straighten out the legs and that feels better, go for it.
However you've ended up. Take your focus to your breath. And as you inhale, just feel how that bolster or whatever you have underneath you is supporting you. And if you're not using a prop, it's how the floor rises to support the ribs.
All right, so we kind of left off. I want to go back to the little well, I'm going to call it a smile because that's what it looks like, and the dot above it, Turiya. So Turiya is absolute consciousness. Absolute consciousness. It dominates the other three stages of the symbol. Without Turiya, that absolute consciousness, we would not have thought, and things would lack meaning. But how do we get there, right? I mean, that is the question. That is I think the life lessons that we keep stumbling upon. That smile, that half curve, Maya, illusion. It doesn't want to hold us back, but it does hold us back. And so Turiya is only discovered by those who can transcend full awakening, dream state, and deep sleep, and then can merge all of that with the idea of absolute consciousness. So powerful symbol, right? Encompasses, like I said, everything in the universe. So while you're lying there in your supported side bend and you're happy as a clam and your eyes are closed, I want you to go back to following the breath. Each exhale in your mind is Om. And frankly, you could say it out loud if you want to, right? Don't be shy. If you feel like chanting that out loud and there's somebody in your space, let them hear you. Maybe they'll join in. Okay, if you're still working with the mantra, let it go. And this shouldn't be too hard. Go ahead and just roll over onto the other side. So when we chant Om, the reason for it is to balance and purify our energy body, our chakras, and to raise our frequency, our vibrational frequency, to that of our higher self. So there's a lot going on with a very simple mantra of Om. So we've talked before about why sometimes you might pronounce it Aum. I'm going to give you a little different variation on that because we talked about how Om encompasses the creation of the universe, the preservation of it, and the destruction of it. So it's the same with those 3 syllables. When you say ah, it starts way back in the throat. That is the creation of that sound, right? It's moving forward. As we get to we're in the middle of the mouth. That's preservation. And by the time we get to our lips have come together, representing destruction. So once again, it's everything. All right, so from where you are, you're simply just going to push your way back up. Rejoin me in a seated pose for a moment, and then we'll set up another restorative pose. But first, I think I'm going to angle myself here. Let's take that right leg straight out, pull that left foot in. And then, as always, remember, that whichever leg is straight out in front of you, that's the hip you want to pull back. Front foot is flexed. Inhale, take the arms up. We're just floating them peacefully, soundlessly. And then gently come on down into your fold. Now, if you're really tight, you might have heard yourself on the way down go, right? Take those external sounds and let's not be connected to them. Let's just be a witness to them. We understand what's happening in the body, right? But we're going in, we're going deeper. So stay right there. I have something else I want you to think about. Because with all these themes, we want to explore them, how they relate to us off the mat. But I also like to explore them on the mat. So let's take my word, for instance. I chose soundless, right? You're in your fold. I'm guessing most of our bodies are not completely soundless right now. If the hamstring is really tight and it's chatting with you, that is your physical body having some type of conversation. It has gone beyond our soundlessness and it has created sound and some noise, right, in the physical body. What does that do to your mental body? So what is the mind now saying? So this is part of that external stuff, the external noise, and I'm trying to get you to look beyond because we don't want to be distracted by that. So how can we let that go? Because we're feeling it, right? How can we let that go so we can come back to that absolute quiet within? Well, one way is we can come out of this pose. So go ahead and walk your hands up your leg. Slowly switch sides. Remember, once you get that left leg out in front, that's the hip you need to draw back. Flex the front foot. Float the arms up. Hold it right here for a second. Think about this fold. Think about the exclamation you might let out as you come down into that fold. Let's try to be really quiet. Go ahead. What are you feeling? What are you sensing? The physical body, that's easy to deal with. If it's talking to you, bend the knee. That should alleviate a lot of that stretch in the hamstring. Having done that, that should alleviate some of the chatter going on in your head. go ahead and slowly come up out of this fold. Perfect. We're going to need, let me tell you what ideally you might need, and then I will give you options if you don't have what I'm about to say. So first, the bolster, 2 blocks. And, you know, the blanket is always the icing on the cake, right? I should never say that. It makes me hungry. Okay, so what I want to do is prop up my bolster. I think I'm going to go a little bit higher. So this is where my feet are. So that's at the foot end of your mat. My legs are going to go up on here. The blanket you could use as a neck roll if you want to. So if you don't have any props, what do you have around you right now? Is there a couch? Is there a chair? We can very easily come down and just put our feet up on a chair. If none of that's available to you, do you have a wall nearby? Because we could just turn and put our feet on the wall. So get creative and, you know, just see what you have around you that might, you know, emulate a bolster and other props, because truly anything can be a prop, right? So where we're headed is just laying back, taking the legs all the way up. I'm going to cross the right ankle over the left, then I don't even have to work to hold my legs here. My hands are resting on my abdomen so I can feel my breath. If you truly don't have anything around you in which to elevate the feet, guess what? You're super lucky you're in Shavasana. Not for the entire rest of the class. I'm just saying right now. Don't get super excited on me. All right, close your eyes there. So I want to share with you another quote. Bear with me. My contacts and I tonight are not seeing clearly, no pun intended. So I'm struggling with what is in front of me. So this is Osho explaining the meaning of Om. Om is the sound when everything else disappears from your body. No thought, no dream, no projections, no expectations, not even a single ripple. Your whole lake of consciousness is simply silent. It has become just a mirror. In those rare moments, you hear the sound of silence. It is the most valuable experience because it not only shows the quality of the inner music, it also shows that the inner is full of harmony, joy, blissfulness. All that is implied in the music of Om. You are not to say it. If you say it, you will miss the real thing. You have to hear it. You have to be utterly calm and quiet, and suddenly it's all around you, a very subtle dance. And the moment you're able to hear it, you have entered into the very secrets of existence. You have become so subtle that now you deserve that all the mysteries be exposed to you. If you crossed your right ankle over your left, will you switch them up so the left ankle's on top?
So what are we doing here? Why am I not speaking? I'm hoping that you are trying to hear your inner Om. Strong breath in through the nose. Cleansing exhale. Let's go ahead and bring the legs down from whatever is holding them up. Go ahead and turn to a side in a fetal position. When you're ready, gently push your way up. You need to move these props out of the way. Don't worry, we're coming back to them very quickly. And let's come on over onto our stomachs for a moment. Taking the hands down by the low ribs, just finding very, you know what I'm going to say again, quiet, hushed, silent, peaceful, restorative, calm, cobra. Now quietly come down. Quietly lift. And come back down. So what are you noticing? You know, we're focusing on being so still. That doesn't mean you're not hearing little creaks and cracks and pops in the body, perhaps, but we're not becoming attached to the external sounds, right? Give me a couple more. And then take your right arm, make it a pillow for your head. Left hand is going to reach back for that left foot, pull it in. Slowly let that leg go. We're going to switch to the other side. Gently release that leg. And then go ahead and quietly roll over onto your back. Hug the knees back in when you're ready. Rock it out. And then we're going to release the legs. You guys know I like this one. Straighten out the left leg. Pull the right knee in. Straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. You're going to point through that foot. Whatever word you chose, write it in cursive on the ceiling. It's kind of like we're just ingraining that word into our energy so we can carry it with us throughout the week and just kind of remember what we've been talking about tonight. Go ahead, hug that knee back in when you're ready. Go back if you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's. Lucky for me, Soundless doesn't have either. And then stretch that right leg out, draw the left knee in. Send that leg up. I hope you can write cursive with the left leg, same word. And when you finish, hug that knee back in. We're going to straighten out both legs. I want you to close your eyes here for a moment and be totally still. If you're happy there, you're already in Shavasana. If you want to grab your props, this would be the time to slide them over. Make yourself super comfortable. Giving you a moment to settle in. Make sure the entire body is happy. We want the physical body to be still. And when the physical body is happy, the mental body is more likely to be still and happy as well. Use your breath if you're finding it hard to let go of thoughts. Can you get any quieter? How much more can you settle your bones? And then before you drift off into one of those stages of Om we talked about, will you just, in your head, on 3 exhales, consecutively give me an Om? And then let go. And you'll hear my voice when it's time to come back.
Amit Ray wrote, Om is not just a sound or vibration. It is not just a symbol. It is the entire cosmos, whatever we can see, touch, hear, and feel. Moreover, it is all that is within our perception and all that is beyond our perception. It is the core of our very existence. If you think of Om only as a sound, a technique, or a symbol of the divine, you will miss it altogether. Om is the mysterious cosmic energy that is the substratum of all the things and all the beings of the entire universe. It is an eternal song of the divine. It is continuously resounding in silence on the background of everything that exists. Start to deepen your breath. If you want to, bring some movement back into the body. And then, very quietly, hushedly, soundlessly, peacefully, soothingly, relaxingly, go ahead and roll to a fetal position. And then taking a deep breath, gently push your way back up. Give me a deep inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale. We're going to Om it out. So inhale, take the arms all the way up. Inhale, you're going to Om to the heart. Om. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.